Hi everybody, Jack O'Malley with this week's update. Got quite a bit to hit on here today. Again, try to do it in 10 minutes. I'm not going to be able to go into massive depth in every issue, but letting you know what we've been working on, different things that are in the news here in Lansing, and how we're proceeding. So let me jump in right now. Yesterday was our last session day before the holiday break. We'll be back in after the first of the year. Yesterday was a long one. One of the things that we discussed and passed through both chambers was the Economic Development Plan, the SOAR plan, the Strategic Outreach and Attraction Reserve. What it does quickly is there's two funds. There is a strategic site fund and a critical industry fund. They have criteria when the state, governor and or MEDC come with a company that says, hey, we've got this idea, they want to invest or they want to stay here, but they need this help with this, or this. These two funds would have dollars in them. They would deposit it into the SOAR fund, and then the House and Senate, the legislature would vote on it. The appropriations would be made. So what makes this different than really all others is there's not just this pot of money that a governor and the MEDC can just take and go with. It has to come back, and there's all types of criteria, and it needs to go through. The money cannot be given until it's appropriated by the legislature, which is, of course, the voice of the people. Now, there are some people who, last week I talked about this a little bit too, there's the whole corporate welfare. I get that, I understand the idea, but we've got to understand that it's not just, Michigan. We can be isolationists, but we're going to lose businesses. They're going to leave us. Comerica went to Texas. It's not just Ford. This has been happening. Other states have things to attract. And so we can be isolationists, or we can model how we do things to what other states are doing, right? I mentioned it, I forget the name of it, but there's 5 southern states that are working together to steal the auto industry from Michigan. We need to do things. We need to be competitive. So I understand not everybody loves the idea, but it passed with good numbers out of the House and the Senate. It's a good idea. We've learned a lot over the last 10, 15, 20 years about what works with this and what doesn't. And again, I would say a couple things, because it's a fair what about? What about our small business? What about the companies that are already here? First of all, this can also retain businesses that are here. I think also one of the things that especially my district and other smaller rural districts need to do is their economic development people need to understand that this is a new tool. And if there is an employer that wants to move in or wants to expand that's already existing, this is a fund they can come to and say, here, it can help us, and they can apply for some help. So this isn't just all about the big three or some tech company that wants to do this, or Amazon. This can be about our small towns and our small communities. It is a new tool, a new way of doing things. So I think it's important. The other issue that was brought up is we passed several bills, and this is another important part of this economic development thing that we did, I'll tell you. We got negotiated $409 million in funding to assist businesses that were closed when it came to personal property taxes and things like that. We shut you down, but then you still had to pay taxes. Well, it's not fair. We sent several bills to the governor only to get them vetoed over the last year. What happened? By doing this, it gives the legislature another opportunity to have leverage in negotiations when it comes to things like this. The governor agreed to helping our small business with their personal property tax because this was a deal that she knew she needed. So I know that, we need this, we need that. Think about it. In a negotiation, you need leverage, and this will help us in many, many, many ways. So you can look for that in the news headlines in the next couple of days. I want to keep moving here. In no particular order. Also in the budget process, we did some supplementals. $134 million is going to buy and administer monoclonal antibodies and other treatments. Now, this is something that Michigan has been lagging behind. You can get it, but it's not as simple. The idea is that we would set up 8 districts that would then be funded, and you could go in and get tested, as I understand how this will work. You get tested, and they say, "Oh, yeah, you got COVID, and it's early in the stages. Just go over there, and you can get this early treatment." Because what we've learned is the sooner you get this monoclonal antibody, the better off you are, and the more effective it is. So this is something that we need to be more part of. Other states are doing it. Florida in one. One of the reasons Florida is doing it so well is because they've adopted this policy. Let's get on it, right? Let's do it. So we are setting that up. So I think that's good news. There's lots of questions, and I know it's a hot topic, but with regard to auto insurance, the $400 insurance refund, the Michigan Department of Insurance and Financial Services, DIFS, is launching a consumer frequently asked question page for folks who have questions about this. One of them is, when's the check coming? Right now, the refunds will be sent out May 9th. So again, you can go to the DIFS website, and they have a frequently asked questions section there about this. So if you haven't, go there and ask. Let's see, what else do we have? This is an interesting one, especially in my district and other northern districts where we depend a lot on tourism. The labor shortage is a problem. Many restaurants and bars had to curb and reduce service because they just didn't have the folks to help waiter and do that sort of thing. So we passed a bill out of the House that is now headed to the Senate. My colleague Michelle Hoytinga from Manton was the sponsor. This basically says to serve alcohol, you can be 17 years old. Obviously, the legal drinking age remains 21, but right now, as a 17-year-old, can't bring over 2 beers to people sitting there or a cocktail. This is just saying, hey, if you're 17 years old, you can deliver it. The idea being now that, how many stores have you gone to where maybe the cashier cannot ring up a six-pack because it's alcohol? This would allow that 17-year-old to be able to do that. They can't drink it, they can't do it, but they sure can deliver it to you, And I mean, let's be honest, are we worried that 17-year-old's going to be sipping your highball before you get it to the table? I don't think it's going to happen. So I think it's a good bill, and we can help it create a few more workers and give them a few more options. This one I'm throwing in there just because it made me laugh. We are getting discussions now. It's already starting. Who's going to run for president? Is Joe Biden going to run? He says he is. What if he doesn't? Who are the Democrats that might have a shot? Well, I just thought I'd throw it out there. There was all that talk a while back about Governor Whitmer being vice president. Now her name is being mentioned with the likes of Kamala Harris and Pete Buttigieg. Gretchen Whitmer, possible Democratic presidential nominee. And I'm going to leave you with this one because this one, well, a couple of thoughts. It's interesting, the comments I get. I got somebody wrote on there that my beard looks terrible, that I look like a wino. I was going to reply if I cared what you thought. It might bother me, but I don't, so it doesn't. It's amazing, But anyway. Here's another one that I thought I'd mention because there was a letter to the editor that appeared in a couple of newspapers in the district that was, at the time, I thought about writing a reply, but then I thought, you know what? I'm not even going to show any respect to this person who was flat out lying in their letter to the editor. I had voted for a bill that would allow for substitute teachers to basically be anybody in the school staff, and that was basically the bill. Okay, that was it. That in an emergency situation with all these shortages and illnesses, someone can be a substitute teacher. Well, this letter to the editor basically said I was trying to torpedo the teachers union. I'm a dirtbag, and I'm just a terrible human being. And I don't care about the education of my children, of the children, because obviously, why would I allow this to happen? And it's not a train. Well, if they had read the bill, by the way, the governor vetoed it, but it got sent back, and we passed it back on. This bill basically says, during this COVID time, and there is an end date on this, it's for basically the school year and maybe next, that when we have teacher shortages, when we have people out with COVID, is it better to send all the kids home, or is it someone who is in the staff that could sit down with other teachers and say, all right, what is it you're needing to do? We can keep the continuity going. It was an emergency bill. I don't want just staff teaching all the time. We need to build up anyway, that's all this bill was. It was an emergency bill that would allow a staff person to sit down with other staff members and say, okay, I'm gonna handle this classroom today. We're gonna make sure that it's all taken care of, and at least there can be some continuity there. It's not trying to torpedo, but that letter writer, I'm sure, thought, ooh, I can get Jack on this one, but it's bull. And anyway, we're sending it back to the governor's desk to say, come on, sign this. It is emergency only. And, the teacher is, or the governor is basically a lapdog for the MEA anyway. So, we'll just continue that fight. I want what's best for the kids. I'm not even an opponent of the MEA. I think the MEA should be in the labor union and representing their membership, which is the teachers. I'm fine with that. Where I have a problem with the MEA is when they say it's for the kids when it's really not, and they try and swing a lot of influence and power. So if they just stick to their representing the teachers, I'm good with it. But the MEA is not my favorite as a union. I love teachers. The union, I have my issues with because of their tactics. They're just representing the teachers, I'm fine. But they want you to think that we're here for the children. Children are down here. Their members are what's number one with them, as it should be. But don't try and blow smoke up my skirt telling me that you're here for the children. You're not. But anyway, I want to be happy. You know what I've been doing this season? I have been purposely saying Merry Christmas to people. And last night when I was leaving, there was a Democratic representative coming at me, and I specifically, because I just said Merry Christmas, and of course they had to say Happy Holidays. No, it's Merry Christmas. And that's where I'm at, and I'm trying to be happy here as we head into the holiday season. I will probably do another update next week, but then take the holidays off. People are going to be worrying about family and doing all that good stuff. So one more update next week before the year ends and the holidays hit us, and then back in January. So we'll chat with you next week. But if I don't talk to you or see you or you don't watch next week, I don't want to miss this opportunity to say Merry Christmas to you, and I hope that you have a blessed season, and peace on earth, goodwill to all. All right? See you next week.